Good morning. Welcome to tip-off number 2. Uh, I don't want any false hopes. I don't think I can do this every single day, but we'll see how it plays out. Hope you're well. Remember to add Facebook as well. Locked On Sports on Facebook. I think it gives a good chance for communication and conversation on things. We're going to hit on 3 quick things today: some football, the Ute coaching search, and then coaching in the NBA, and just the kind of I don't know how to talk. We'll see if this makes any sense to you or not. Let me update you a few things on the coaching search. I am hearing more and more that the University of Utah did go after Dave Rose, didn't get him. That the dollar figures were significant, and they didn't get him. I'm hearing that the dollar figures are significant. They're over $1 million, $1.2 million a year, and that they may be making another lap around to see if the $1.2 million has any sticky paper to it to get some other people to jump aboard, because right now the list is not growing. So unless they've really zeroed in on Kraskowiak, they played both the last 2 games, and but I don't get that vibe. I mean, Kraskowiak, or how you pronounce it, he interviewed at Boise State and didn't get that job. It would seem stunning to me that Utah would hire a guy that couldn't get the Boise State job a year ago. It is interesting that Utah's 0 for 2 on high-level WCC coaches now, with Bennett and Rose. And maybe that's why they're circling back around to see what they can do. I think a little stunning, I'm guessing, on the lack of what Majerus's run is doing for that job. So that's the latest there. Let's talk some Jazz here in tip-off. I think it's interesting. The value of all-stars, the value of Hall of Famers, the value of stars in the NBA, it's not lost on anyone. We've had Stockton and Malone and Boozer and Darren, and now suddenly we don't have that for the first time. And where does that show up? Well, what it does is it shows up just a few points a game. And I'm going to get geeky here for a second, if you don't mind. 1 point, if you get 1 point better at defense in a season, let's say per 100 possessions, that's the way I like to look at it, obviously. But let's say your defense gets a point better. I probably a little more, but in a game you get 1 point better. That's going to be the equivalent to 2.7, call it 3 wins. That's just how the NBA works. If you really go through, and I can, without boring you to death, if you look at the Golden State Warriors right now, they're -3 differential. Well, 41 wins, minus 3, so you do 3 times 3. You guys got that? Because each point is worth 3 games, and then they're -3 on the differential, so they're going to be about 9 under. Well, they're on pace to win 34 games instead of 32. It's awfully close. The Clippers, who are also a -3, are on pace to win 31. Flip it around. If a team's +3, they're going to be on pace to win about 50 games. So that's the difference. I mean, the 19, like from a 50 to a 30 win team is really a 6-point a night differential. And to some extent, that's what we just went through. We went from a 50-win team to a 30-win team. So, and it shows up a little bit in the close games. Under Jerry, we were 12-4, and we had Darren. 12-4 in games decided by 6 or less. Plus the Orlando overtime win by 10. For under Ty, without Darren, we're 2 and actually with Darren for 1 or 2 of these, we're 2-6. Well, that does it right there. I mean, if let's say you're a 500 team, and in your 20 close games under that in this case was 16, but over a course of a season you have 20, 25 close games, and with Jerry you're a point or 2 better, and so you win those. And when you have a new coach in the NBA, you lose those. That's the difference. That is truly the difference. From in a lot of ways from going from a 50-win team to a 30-win team. Now, take away a superstar, and you've got the same phenomenon. So if you're wondering kind of how this happened, I mean, that might be one of the more simple inversions. We may be overcomplicating it, and the defense fell apart, and there's all sorts of other things that have taken place here. But just the value of stars and coaching, and we lost 2 stars, one in Jerry and one in Darren Williams. And this is not a criticism of Ty, but I just think, okay, between Phil and Jerry, they've been through every circumstance, any time. If they just make the subtlest adjustment during a game, probably commonplace to them because of their years of experience, and it earns you an extra point or two during a game, that can change the outcome of a close game. It could be a third quarter adjustment. It could be a simple gut play in the second quarter. And those are things that Tyrone just doesn't have at his disposal yet. I think what I'm seeing on Tyrone, communication strong, interaction with players is strong, guts is strong. I mean, leaving Paul and Al on the bench the other day was pretty strong. But that just between he and Scott Layden and Jeff Hornacek as a staff right now don't have that game experience. And there's only one way to get it. It's interesting. I mean, there's another discussion to be had here, how for some reason lack of experience at the highest level head coaching in college basketball does not seem to preclude success. And generally lack of experience in the NBA is a rocky road. So just an interesting kind of, I thought, worth pointing out and looking at that. But that's just kind of the value of close games and what may have happened in a lot of ways. I mean, there's a confluence of numerous things. The other thing that I think is really, really interesting going on that I was just going to touch on today is what's happening both offensively at BYU and the University of Utah in the football world. I just got a phone call. And you know what? It's live, so hey, I'm recording something right now. Can I call you back in like 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes? All right, I'll call you back. Thanks. See that? Like, how's that? Like, my phone's hidden down under here. That's why that happened. Hey, no need to stop the recording and ruin the whole thing and blow off a buddy. I'm going to go take some turns at Deer Valley today. I'm guilty of that. Yes, I am. All right, so the other thing I think is interesting that's going on is the dropping of the spread, which I love at Utah. And I think you listen to Brandon Doman, the new OC at BYU, they're talking much more about downhill running game. I think Stanford, the way they've had success, is a huge influence on this. Oregon's doing the opposite, but getting some of those kind of kids is tough. What I really like about what Utah's done is as they move to the Pac-12, they may not have to play this game, but they're still not getting the first knock on the door. USC's getting the first knock on the door. Some of the other schools, Oregon's probably getting an early knock on the door. Washington, these other schools are earlier on the knock. Well, if most other schools are in the spread and you're playing pro style, you can go get a kid you might not be able to get otherwise. The spread was brilliant early because Urban was able to get some kids that other people didn't want because he fit their system. Well, now if most people are running the spread, now Utah's just back on an even ground recruiting with some limitations of what they can do. If you go, and same thing for BYU, though BYU's recruiting is a bit different. Now if you go and play the West Coast while most people are going somewhere else, well, go get guys that fit the West Coast. Maybe the slower wide receiver that runs the good routes fits for you. Maybe the quarterback who's got the quicker release works for you. Maybe the pure quarterback. For Jake Heaps, he's a fabulous play-action quarterback, and I think that will help him out a great deal. And neither Wynn nor Heaps has shown a great consistency with the deep ball. That's what happens with young quarterbacks. And so you take that away where the spread forces you to throw the ball downfield a little bit further if you're really going to run real pass routes and not just those little screens because everything takes longer. And also just from a running game standpoint, fundamental, Rocky Blyer, fullback followed by the running back. Pow, here we come. It's just a fundamental thing that works in football. All right, that's tip-off number 2. I hope you guys are enjoying this. As always, send me your feedback, DLock with an E on the end, at utahjazz.com or on the Facebook. Give us a like at, I hate that phrase, but give us a like at Lockdown Sports on Facebook. Follow the YouTube channel, which is DLock09, and it's all here for you. I'll try to get this done as much as I possibly can. Lakers in town tomorrow. We'll talk about that some as well. All right, tip-off number 2 is in the books. We will touch on Lakers Jazz tomorrow for you on tip-off number 3.